Welcome to week 2 of 100 Days of Surfing. This week was a doozy. A huge XL swell rolled into town, and it was even rowdier than I imagined.
Whoa, bumpy!
For someone who prefers small, longboard friendly waves, I knew right away this week was going to be a challenge for me. It started off a little more manageable, and I was able to ease myself into surfing some of the bigger breaks while the waves were still pretty friendly. It's always hard figuring out a new spot, and it's so crowded in Santa Cruz with a lot of competition for every wave, so I spent a lot of time waiting and cleaning up the smaller leftovers. It was still pretty clean, and I was able to catch some smaller, fun-sized waves, so I was super happy about that. Once the swell hit, it was clear that these waves were no joke. The current was crazy, and you had to constantly paddle to stay in place. Luckily, where I surfed was a point break, so when it was too big or I was a little scared, I could always hang out on the shoulder and watch bombs go by. It was really crazy to see how big and powerful those waves are from in the water, and to watch amazing surfers flying down the line on these massive sets. The waves became so big and bumpy that I was pretty much just trying to catch something and go down the line. It was definitely outside my comfort zone and a little discouraging at times. I kind of felt like I'd gone backwards and was relearning the basics all over again. But as I look back on it, those days definitely helped me edge out of my little surf bubble, and I'm definitely feeling a little more confident in bigger conditions, knowing I can handle myself when big waves come through, paddle in wicked current, and catch big, weird, bumpy waves. Even though I was a little intimidated by the bigger waves, the surf community here is super supportive, and every time I would see a familiar face, they'd encourage me to go deeper, catch another wave, or just tell me a joke to make me laugh. I learned a lot from watching everyone out there, and I'm so lucky to be part of such a supportive, ocean-loving community. Once the waves started to mellow out a bit, I had another challenge: my schedule. I was preparing for and shooting a multi-day photo shoot, and I was running really low on extra time to go surfing. Normally, I'm lucky to have a really flexible schedule, but this week was kind of maxed out, and I was struggling to fit in a session on a few of the days. I definitely wouldn't have surfed a couple of those days, and I'm really happy that wasn't an option because those sessions were actually really fun. Removing the internal debate of should I or should I not go surfing has really freed up a lot of space in my mind, and I know that going every day in every condition is going to pay off, eventually. Don't get me wrong, some of the days were not fun. Some of the days were downright comical how bad it was out there. I was really tired from multiple days of fighting the current and trying to catch big bouncy waves and outrun huge sets, but I do see little improvements in my confidence and strength, so I can only hope it's working. One of my good friends reminded me not to get down when I don't see tons of progress, because when you're making the progress is not when you see the progress. And another friend reminded me that the ocean is really in charge of what we're working on each session. From the paddle out to where and what we surf, all we can do is do our best and learn from each session. So all I can do is keep trying, and luckily I'm pretty stubborn. Next week is looking a little more my style, so I'm excited to see what the ocean has in store. Thanks for following along, and I'll see you all next week.